Hey everyone, and welcome back to the review. So in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about how to create an eBay account with zero feedback and zero money, how to start an eBay account, basically from scratch in 2022. And this is part 3. Part 1 is how to create an eBay account on eBay.com if you live in the United States, and on how to list your first name. And part 2 was auctions, how to set up a successful auction. Now part 3, this is how to deal with returns, return scams, and return fraud. So here we go. So when you list an item on eBay, you can set up a return policy. You can do no returns, or you don't accept returns at all. Buyer pays return shipping, where the buyer has to pay the price of the return label. Or seller pays return shipping, which is free returns. And that's the Amazon method. And that's basically where the seller will pay for the return label, will pay, say it costs $5 to ship it back to the seller. The seller will pay the $5, no matter the reason, or if it's I'm not subscribed, or change mine, or doesn't fit, if it's a clothing item, or like a jewelry item, or shoes, or something like that. So, and where it could be defective, and the seller have to pay for the return, no matter what the reason is. The seller will pay for the return label. But let's talk about no returns first. No returns is something I advise against, unless you're just starting out on eBay, and you don't know how to do it. Like, I didn't know how to do this up my returns, and I had no returns for a little bit on eBay when I first started out. I think by default you have no returns, so I was doing no returns, and then but no returns will get you some return scammers, because you'll have people that will do item as described, or doesn't work, or defective for the return reasons, and they'll basically force you to accept a return. And that's basically what I did. I had a couple people send me returns, and they're probably just took the good item, sent back the roll not working item, and just did I am not subscribed, or doesn't work, or defective. And people pull them scams on you when you first start out. Like there might be people that are genuinely honest when you first start out and saying, hey, this item genuinely doesn't work. But there's some people are trying to pull a fast one. They're like, hey, my $10 item, I want a refund on that. They're hoping you give them a full $10 refund. But don't fall for that. Unless if you test it when you get back and it genuinely doesn't work, yeah, then you refund the full amount. But if it doesn't, you can use your refund. You can use, if you're a top rated seller, you can use the refund tool and give them a full refund back. When you first start out, you can't really use the refund tool. You have to have $1,000 in sales, and you have to sell 100 items every year in order to be considered a top rated seller. So when you first start out, though, it might be hard to do that, but you might have to foot the bill for full refund, even though you don't want to. But once you get in eBay and know eBay works and stuff, and you sell that threshold, become top rated, definitely use that refund tool. The refund tool, what that will do is that will give you 50%, will let you refund up to 50% of the original purchase price. So basically you can refund 50% is the lowest you can refund, is the lowest you can withhold. You can withhold up to 50% of the original purchase price. So if, for example, you sell something for $10, you can withhold $5 of that, because the buyer sent back an item that didn't work and your item worked. Or like you can send, or just for basically any reason you want, like their item they sent back to you broken shipping, or they sent you a defective item like yours worked. Like you said yours worked in the listing, but buyer claimed it didn't work and they sent you back a defective one. Unless maybe you genuinely made a mistake, like but. And then buyer pays return shipping. Buyer pays return shipping. That's what I do on all my listings, regardless if I charge for shipping or not. And the reason I do that is buyer pays return shipping is nice if you have a heavy item. I have a bunch of like heavy items like Cub Cadet lawnmower parts that are and like lawnmower parts and stuff that like cost like $10-15 to return, like parts that I've sold. Even if with my eBay discount, my top rated seller discount through like the post office stuff, even when like the cheapest way possible, like parcel ground or regional B or something like that, it still costs like $10 to like $13 to ship it. And I just shipped a big giant hood today, cupcake hood. It cost like $25 to ship it to the buyer almost. It was like 23 something. And I don't want to have to foot the bill on that free return, because if I do free returns on that, where I have to pay for return label, I have to pay $23.75 to ship it to them. And I have to pay $23.75 back. And then I have to refund them. Even if I withhold the original shipping, I'm basically out I'm out like $50. I'm out $23.75 each way. And then if I send it back to the buyer, a different buyer, I'm out another like say $25. So I'm out like $70 in just shipping it. I mean, at least I get like a little bit of my money back for shipping both ways, but I'm still out like $20 my cost, even if I withhold the shipping price, the original shipping. So for big items and heavy items, first items are oversized or heavy. That's mainly why I do the buyer pays return shipping. And I also do the buyer pays is so like scammers. So for example, if you get like a scammer that says, hey, this item doesn't work, but you know it works. Well, like for example, if I put a name that says says it was tested and working prior to listing it, so I know that right before I listed it, I did test it and it does work, or if it does work or it doesn't work. Then then you're protected. If it doesn't work, and the buyer says it doesn't work, then maybe they just misread the listing, and you still have to refund the full amount because it doesn't work, and it doesn't work. But but that's more of like a feedback extortion, bad feedback, even false feedback. Item doesn't work, but you still have for part, but see, that's a parts only item, or not working item to begin with. But if they send back an item that you sold an item that works, they send back a non-working item. Mainly they'll curb that, and they'll curb people like trying to return them for like false reasons. Like they won't have people saying like I am not as. You might have some people saying I am not as described, or this or that, trying just send back their old one, or lie about the reason, say like doesn't might be a doesn't fit return, but they'll say item not as described or something. Maybe some people might just try to get a false return on buyer pays return shipping, so don't have to pay for return label. Some people will, but I've had people send me back returns. And one time they haggled and saying, oh, they bought the wrong item, and then I ended up calling eBay, and they actually ended up reimbursing me on the shipping label, which was pretty nice. Because I explained my side of the story, and I think they saw the messages that I sent, and the buyer sent me, and they're like, well, we'll refund you, we'll reimburse you the shipping label. And lo and behold, they actually did reimburse me on the shipping label. So that was nice. But otherwise, I haven't had people really scam me in returns, mainly because I do the buyer pays. And also, I haven't had really people do returns with me anyways. Like maybe I'll have like a couple returns here. Like last year I had maybe a couple returns. That's it. Like this year I had so far I've had one return on a 5-wheel. But the buyer did provide a legit reason, like I don't think the buyer lied and said doesn't fit or is defective or something like that. I think the buyer said doesn't fit or something like that. It doesn't fit for it in their mower or something. They bought the wrong one basically and returned it. So they did a legit return. And then free returns. Now free returns is basically where it's like the Amazon method, in which for whatever reason it could be doesn't fit all the way to it. Item not as described, or so like I was saying here about free returns. Free returns is basically where the seller pays for the item, or basically pays for the return, not for the item, but pays for the return label. No matter what the reason is, it could be doesn't fit, it could be item not as described, or doesn't work defective, and where it doesn't work in defective, and item not as described, you have to pay for the return label regardless, I believe. But all the other reasons, you don't have to pay for return label. The buyer has to foot the return label if it doesn't fit. I changed mine. Maybe if there's other reasons I can't think of, but for returning it, but you still have the buyer still pay, the seller still pays for return them, and it's kind of like the Amazon method, and it's kind of like a way of saying, hey, if there's any problem with the item, we'll accept the return for any reason, doesn't matter, and we'll take the return back. It's kind of like the Amazon way, and people do like the Amazon way if they're new to shopping on eBay, they have no they don't really buy on eBay, but they might buy on Amazon a lot, and say they can't find it on Amazon for a good deal, or for whatever the budget is, or they can't find it on Amazon at all, and the only place they can find it is on eBay, then they might want that free return. But I've had people that buy on eBay for me, and I only do buyer pays return shipping, because they can't find them on eBay, at a good on Amazon at a good price, or on another site at a good price. So they come to eBay and they might find it's external, Google search, Google shopping. And so, but some people do make that decision though, based on Amazon. Amazon, if you have Amazon Prime, they do hassle-free returns. Some people might like the buyer, might pay a little more there's some people that might pay a little more. Like, for example, instead of, say, $9.99 plus shipping for the item, they might pay $10.99 for that same item for someone that does free returns, hassle-free returns, And I mean, there's a benefits to that. Like if like for the buyer, they might be like, if there's anything wrong with them, they'll take it back for any reason, and I don't have to pay for the return amount. It's kind of like the Amazon method, and basically they stand behind their product, and I stand behind my product too if I do, but I don't do buyer or free returns just because of this people if they're scammers, and mainly because I saw big heavy items. I don't want to do items that cost a lot to ship return to me. It's not feasible to do free returns. But yeah. And then you can do 30 days and 60 days. And I went 60 days might be too long of a return policy. I think 30 days is long enough. I went 30 days is fair. I think 30 days is fair enough though, because it gives time for the buyer to receive the item, and then even if it's like even if they're the person who's buying the item buys it as a gift, or is like on vacation, or is away for a little bit, and it still gives them time to return it and stuff like that, which is fair enough. But 60 days, I mean, if you really want the best return policy, you do 60 days free, 60 days seller pays return shipping. That's like the optimum best return policy. But honestly, I think 30 days is fair enough though. Honestly, in my eyes, I do 30 days buyer pays return shipping, because 30 days is fair enough though. If the buyer is on vacation for a few weeks, or there's shipping delays with them, or they're given as a gift. There's plenty, or gift for birthday or Christmas, or any other gift reason, and it gives them time, to facilitate that. So, but yeah, and check back next time for part 4. I'm going to be doing promoted listings. So stay tuned.